Rhythm is life, rhythm is soul. I say let's get it right this time. Let love unfold.
Just in relation to coming out of what we are not, or I am not. When I was listening to that, the attitude was sort of, oh yes, I know that. And even seemingly knowing the details, really meaning the knowledge is stored somewhere, having read all the books.
Yeah.
In practice, though, there's a bit of reticence, a lot of reticence. So let me do it right now, that might be easier. So right now, for example, I broadly think that I am sort of half awareness and half a selection of thoughts and feelings, something like that. So to look at it logically, do I really believe I am those thoughts and feelings? No. And yet, yes, this is obviously this habitual little voice, a voice behind the voice behind the voice saying, yes, you are that stuff. Don't. And the proof is that you identify with it and you feel pain, and therefore it's what do you call it, a negative feedback loop.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is that the way to go? Just really look again and again and again, think about it a little bit if that's what it takes. Am I that stuff? And really look, as opposed to just.
Yeah, there's something there that's being missed. And I'm not talking about knowledge. I'm talking about you being aware of something that's being missed, or conscious of something that's being missed. I want to empathize with you, Tess. Look, I can completely empathize with what you just said. I totally can. I'd done so much reading and so much study and looked and looked and looked and looked and looked, and yet at the end of the day, with all of that research, with all of that earnestness, with all of that diligence, I could say things. I know there's no me here. I know I'm not the thoughts. I know that the mind just creates the story and creates a seeming me, and so on. Like, I know I'm not the body. Yeah. And yet, at the end of the day, the truth is, me still felt like it was here. Me still felt like it was here. If I was to be really honest, I didn't have to be honest with anyone else but me, but myself and my absolute direct experience. Yeah.
Yep.
Right. Okay. What's going on there? What is that? What's happening right there in that direct experience? What's happening there? And I'm reticent, Des, to reticent to give it to you.
It?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. It, yeah. There's something right there that you've missed.
Well, see, I thought what I've missed is just generally not looking in practice.
No.
No.
No, you've done. Des, come on, man. How much looking is it going to take? You've been looking and looking and looking and looking and looking, and Yeah, and I think you have a profound understanding of what you're not. I really do. I really do. Yeah, but there's in my experience, even with all the knowledge and all the understanding that I had, me still felt like it was here. It still felt like it was a real thing. Just did. If I was to be really, really honest, did. Kind of, no matter what, my mind was trying to tell me in terms of, no, I know there's no me here, and I know it's all just thoughts, and I know I'm not the feelings, and I know I'm not the body, and I know. Like, man, I fucking painted myself into such a corner with everything that I'd learned in the mind. Everything I just painted myself in I didn't know where, I literally didn't know where to go, even to the point of finding myself saying, I don't want to read another book. I don't want to listen to another teacher. I don't want to go to a satsang. I don't want to go to a retreat. I'm not interested anymore in anything that anyone else has got to say about this subject. Yeah. Yet there was something I'd missed. And the irony of it was, it was one of the first things I thought I'd seen.
Ah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, which really surprised me. Really, really surprised me. So you need to see it. And all I will say, Des, is mind or a thought, was still hanging on to a false belief. Even though the mind was saying, seen through that. I hadn't seen through it. I just intellectualized the shit out of everything. Yeah. Which was okay. That's all par for the course as well. It's all okay, yeah. But at some point, it's got to come back to your direct experience. Outside of mine, what's my direct experience? And when I did that, when I came back to my direct experience, the conclusion that I came to was, damn it, me still feels here. That was my honest, direct experience. And, and not bypassing that, but owning it and acknowledging it. Just to myself, I had to do that. Yeah.
Okay, I think I know. If I may, I think we've covered it, but I want to ask this because it was a view I'd formed a minute ago. Now I have great doubts about it. I'd like to get rid of it altogether if it's wrong.
Yeah.
What I picked up from what you were saying earlier was a need for want of better words, like an absolute intellectual clarity about consciousness versus non-consciousness. Because it's sort of in the same way that, if we know, if someone asks us, get me a knife, we know what a knife is. There's no confusion with a spoon or.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of other areas, there's a little bit of confusion. If it's trivial, it doesn't matter. If it's important, it does matter because that confusion. Now, I know that's all intellectual, but that's what I was picking up before. I can see what you were saying, though. It's more, well, in my view now, it's looking at the ego, always just wanting to have that little spot, that little, happy to be diminished, but it wants to be still running the show.
Yeah, there's a Look, Des, if you're where I was, and I suspect you are, there's one thing left that mind is hanging on to. If you want to use the word ego as hanging on to, I mean, I don't usually. There's no such thing as an ego. It's just amigo. It's all one and the same thing. Yeah. There's one thing that needs to be seen, and try and see it from your direct experience here. Use a tiny portion of mind, just a tiny portion. Really come back to your direct experience here. What's actually happening? And if I give it to you, mind will grab a hold of that and go, yep, cool, got that, next.
Yeah.
And you'll bypass the experience. And I don't want to rob that from you. Yeah.
Yep. Thanks.
Just sit with that till next time and let me know how you go. Yeah. But you're at a point now where this all now comes down to your direct experience. You got to put mine down. Yeah. And if in your direct experience, what comes up for you is, damn, me still feels it's like it's here. Okay. Find out what's going on there with that. And from your direct experience, you don't need to refer to the mind anymore, Des. You don't, mate. You've learned enough. You've learned enough. You don't need to rely on it. Come back to your direct experience. Your direct experience, and sit there, ponder there. In your direct experience, ponder that. What's going on there that me feels like it's here? What's going on? See what comes up. Just see what comes up for you. And try not to get intellectual about it. And I know that can be tough, yeah, but at some point that's got to be put down. At some point. Yeah. I'll give you a tip. Yeah. I didn't realize how profound it was when I said to myself, damn, I get all this, but me still feels like it's here. Sit with that, see what comes up for you.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, pleasure.